Another option would be to send long-range bombers, potentially including two 22M3 backfires, two 160M White Swans, and two 95M Bears, carrying Kh-55 and Kh-101 air-launched cruise missiles over the Mediterranean to launch those weapons. The Kremlin has already used these aircraft, flying from bases within Russia, in the past for standoff attacks on targets in Syria. But in this case, countries may balk at providing overflight rights to those bombers, considering they may be on their way to strike American targets. Also, using bombers would give the US a big heads up as to what is likely to come, but then again that could be Moscow's intent. There is even the possibility that the Russians could take the opportunity to demonstrate an all-new capability. Russia's Air Force claims that it has fielded the Kh-47M2 Kinzhal, which appears to be an air-launched version of the Iskander-M short-range ballistic missile, with MiG-31 interceptor units in the country's southern military district. These aircraft, which are intended for long-range operations, would almost certainly be able to strike targets in Syria from those bases with the Kinzhal. It's not clear, however, whether the Kremlin would be willing to commit a weapon to combat for the first time in this instance, and we don't know if the system has a conventional warhead option. The Russians have been using the Syrian battlefield as a proving ground for their newest weapons for years, but they have employed them only against anti-regime rebels and ISIS, where the stakes are lower. They would likely favor more proven systems in any attack that could lead to the deaths of American troops, whether the goal is to avoid those casualties or cause them. The Kremlin could also decide to avoid directly striking back itself, offering tacit support to the Syrian government or Iran and its proxies to go ahead with their own standoff attacks. Iran has already demonstrated its ability to fire ballistic missiles from its own territory at targets within Syria and has been actively helping Assad with his own ballistic missile program. The Syrian military has used its own short-range Scud-type ballistic missiles in the civil war, but it's unclear how many it has left after nearly a decade of fighting or what condition the remaining examples might be in at this point. Those missiles are also vulnerable to preemptive strike as they fuel in an erect position, and Assad mobilizing those missiles would be just the type of operation the US would undoubtedly be looking for through its intelligence channels following a punitive set of strikes.